Today's discussion is going to be the first of several that relate specifically to the gut and gut health and gut repair. But before we get into today's specific topic, we just want to give a general overview on the importance of the gut and the digestive system. And some of these things that we're going to talk about now are going to be reiterated over and over again. Some of them have already been introduced, but we are really going to spend a lot of time highlighting the importance of the gut and how our food can help us repair our guts and the importance on the rest of our physiological functioning. It's the gut is 70% or more of our immune system is housed in our guts. So that's incredibly important, and it makes sense. When food or anything enters the body, it's all hands on deck. The body rushes to identify what it is. Is it toxic? Is it healthy? Can it be used? Can it not be used? Does it have to be dealt with right away? So our immune system and the bacteria in our guts are all over anything and everything we put in our body right away. It's incredibly important. This hands-on deck kind of response system is vital to our existence. When something poisonous enters, the body is right on it to eliminate it, to attack it, to deal with it right away. It's first and foremost. This all happens as a function of our guts and a healthy gut system. It's one of the main functions of our guts. Now, what else happens in our guts? Our guts actually help create vitamins, hormones, serotonin, which regulates our mood, 80% of which is produced in our guts. The bacteria in our guts, we house 10 times more bacteria in our guts than we do cells in our body. That's pounds of bacteria that are essential for the assimilation, the digestion of food. This signals the rest of the body and is incredibly vital to functioning, healthy functioning. The terms that you've heard so many times, gut feelings, gut instincts. The gut is referred to as the second brain. It's just that important. It's linked to a lot of our emotions, and its health is of utmost importance. Even Hippocrates in 300 BC said all disease begins in the gut. So that was even understood in ancient times. So for these reasons, and the fact that no bodily function, no other function in our body can operate optimally without a healthy gut. So we need to really have a healthy gut system, take care of our gut, repair it. It's incredibly vital. Now, to some extent, 75% of Americans right now have some form of gastrointestinal digestive discomfort, and even 75 million, I think, are on some kind of prescription or over-the-counter medication. Some of us have to use antacids. So our gut systems are out of balance. The bacteria, the good bacteria versus the bad bacteria in our guts is out of balance. That's called dysbiosis. The other thing about the gut I want to mention as an introduction to before we get into today's topic, and again, we're going to focus on the gut health and repair over the next few sessions, is the fact that the amount of energy that's required to digest food, the taxing impact on the body, the energy required takes up the most energy of all other bodily functions. Now, it makes a lot of sense, especially if we're eating a lot of standard American diet type foods that are combined cheeses and meats and carbs and whatnot. These very heavy meals that we eat they take up a lot of energy, and all of us have experienced that post-meal kind of food coma that we refer to it as, because we've just taken on so much food that we can barely move. So you can see so much energy is required to address, again, it's all hands on deck to address, okay, what did we eat, what combinations, what enzymes are needed to what. We have to break this food down because there's invariably another meal coming down the pike. It takes a lot of energy, to the point where we almost shut down sometimes because we don't have enough energy to handle the other functions of moving and whatever mental tasks we're involved in. So that is because of the amount of energy required by the digestive system. What we want to do is we want to make it as easy for our digestive system to assimilate and process food and eliminate what's not needed. We want to make that process as efficient as possible. One of the first things we can do, now let's face it, most Americans suffering from obesity or just being overweight, we eat too much, That's clear. We take in too many calories and not the right kinds of calories, and we eat too fast. So today's discussion is going to be on mindful eating, and in particularly chewing our food, leaving food in our mouths a lot longer than we're used to. Now, this may sound incredibly basic. We were all taught as kids, chew your food, you're going to choke. What's the rush? Sit down. We would sit and eat as a family, take our times. That type of eating has largely gone the way of the dodo. We're very busy. Most households have 2 working parents. We're eating on the go. We're eating usually something quick. We're eating standing up. We're eating in the car, and we're just too busy to sit down and eat. Now, the reason why chewing is so important, and the title of this discussion is chewing our liquids and drinking our solids. Now, this is a tool that we can start to employ immediately that can improve our health, regardless of what we're eating. Now, granted, we've all got changes to our diet that we can make to upgrade it. But one thing we can do, regardless of what we're eating, is we can chew our food more. Now, this has a tremendous physiological benefit on our bodies. Remember, the digestive energy that's required. Digestion starts in the mouth. The food starts to get broken down by enzymes in our saliva, depending on the kind of food. If it's a carb, if it's lactose, if it's a protein, we have different enzymes. It starts to get broken down in the mouth. Now, the more we chew it, and we want to chew our solids into kind of a sludge, think of a thick smoothie, this will likely require us chewing our food 3, 4, 5 times as much as we normally do. Our teeth are made for mashing, and the saliva, to start to break down the food, is to help us have it pass through and enter into the stomach in this more liquid form. Now, that more liquid form, what it does is creates a bigger surface area. It's just broken down. Think about a block, a rock that has been smashed into smaller pieces, powder. It's much more, there's more surface area, so the enzymes can attach more easily and break down smaller particles into even smaller particles and help pass this through as a liquid. When we're chewing our food adequately, what are we doing? We're adding more saliva. Saliva is 95% water. This slowing down of the eating process is adding water. It's digesting the food already so that it enters our stomach partially digested already, again, for it to flow through more easily. Now, what happens when we don't chew properly? Now, we have bigger chunks of food. We call it woofing it down, right? We're barely chewing. We're inhaling our food. This is incredibly problematic, and I'm going to explain why. In any one given meal where we're not chewing and not getting this more sludgy, liquid-like into our digestive system, and again, that's even if the food isn't healthy. At least our body's got a shot to flow it through quickly and eliminate it if it's chewed properly. When the larger chunks are in the stomach, food only stays in our stomach for a few hours, and then the stomach gets it into the small intestines quickly. Now, our small intestines are actually, depending on the size, like 20 feet long, made to soak in the vitamins, minerals, water from our food. When we're eating, especially these condensed, thick, low water content meals, and we're not even chewing them properly, we have these big chunks of food in our stomach. They end up passing into the small intestine, largely undigested and in big chunks. This is a disaster for our digestive system, and by extension, a disaster for our bodies. Now, think about it. These foods are in our large intestines. They're not broken down, and they often remain undigested for some period of time, sometimes years and years to some extent, because why? Another big meal is coming down the pike within a couple hours. So if we had a big breakfast and we didn't chew it properly, and it's sitting there, and it's like, oh my God, we have the stomach's like, I got another meal coming. It pushes that out into the intestines. Another one comes down, and if we're not chewing, and this is all in one day, we can see how this builds up over time. And the reason why we're obstructed internally is because we have this literal fecal matter, undigested food inside our intestines, and if it's meats and it's dairies and it's sticky and it's stuck to the walls of our intestines, it builds up, and it can tear the one cell layer thick lining of our intestines and result in leaky gut, which is becoming incredibly more prevalent, unfortunately, where pieces of food are actually leaking into our bloodstream. before it's had a chance to be properly processed through our digestive system. Now, when this happens through leaky gut, the body doesn't recognize this material, this food material entering our blood, and attacks it. And then you have the onset of autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease is when the body is attacking itself. Now, it could be in the form of celiac disease. It could be in the form of rheumatoid arthritis, where the body is attacking its joints. Type 1 diabetes. These are autoimmune diseases that are, again, unfortunately becoming more and more prevalent. It's all because it's emanating from the gut. Yes, it's the processed foods. Yes, it's the pesticides and the toxins in the meats and the chlorine and the fluoride and all that. It's a combination of all of that. In addition, not chewing properly, or conversely, chewing properly can help mitigate at least some of the ill effects of what's in the food we're eating by allowing it to pass through quickly. So can't emphasize this simple technique that we were taught as children, and how important it is. Now, the side benefits of this, of going easy on the digestive system, again, think about a factory line, a new project has come to the assembly line to be broken down on the conveyor belt, right? Where this thing is on the conveyor belt and there are various processes along the way where things are getting picked out. This we need, this we don't need, and we hopefully are passing this meal all the way through elimination. Now, like what I just described is the more common occurrence, where it's not passing through, it's getting stuck, it's building up, and this built up food in our intestines is giving us gas. It's rotting food, it's fecal matter on the inside of our bodies, which is why we've stressed so much the importance of high water content food to clean, and fiber to attach the toxins and eliminate and get this obstruction out of the way so things can literally flow through. The other thing that chewing does is create some mindfulness. It allows us to sit and we will ultimately actually eat less food. Why? We will get fuller faster when we're eating high calorie dense food and literally woofing it down into our system. It takes a lot longer for our stomachs to fill up. Why? Because there's very little water in it. The more we chew, the more water we're adding. Hopefully, we're starting to add more high water content food anyway. If we're not, chewing will add some water. And when our stomach is full, it stretches. When it stretches, there are what's called stretch receptors that send signals to our brain to say that we are full. The stomach says, okay, good, I'm done, I'm full. I can't take any more right now. Like, shut off the hunger hormones and trigger the satiety hormones. I'm full, I'm satiated. That happens from our stomach. Now think about it, if you ate like 3 bags of crackers and you had all this high calorie dense, low water content food, it's going to take a lot of that to fill up the stomach. Think of the stomach as a balloon. Now filling that balloon up with sand versus filling it up with water. Water has no calories. That's much more preferential, easier on our digestive system. So that mindfulness and the adding water slows us down. We end up eating less. It helps us lose weight because we're eating less, and it helps us process what we have eaten quickly and efficiently so that food doesn't remain stuck on the insides of our body. Now, it's estimated, which is why we recommend colonics, to help get rid of some of this excess waste that's sitting in our intestines. It's estimated that we all have several pounds to many pounds of just undigested food in our intestines, and helping eliminate that and releasing that will obviously help us lose weight, take out some of the gas and the festering, rotting that's going on in our intestines. That's why we have BO. That's why we have bad breath. That's why our gas and elimination smells so badly. It's because we literally have rotting food in our digestive system. And again, adding in the whole foods, the high water content foods, and the fiber and whatnot from a well-balanced whole food-based diet will help to repair that and eliminate that. And chewing our food again and again, over and over into a liquid, will also help incredibly, incredibly quickly, right away. You can start it right now. And I just want to end with this. When I say chew your liquids, well, what do you mean by that? Drinking our solids, that's easy. We need to chew our food a lot until it's a liquid in our mouth. But we don't want to be guzzling our water, and we don't want to be guzzling our juices and smoothies. Same thing there. We want water to absorb into our mouth, but we want the nutrients and juices and smoothies and high water content fruits to also have time in the mouth. Some of them will just get digested right there and then. So we want to like swish around these good smoothies and in our mouths and take our time. Let them spend some time in the mouth and then swallow them down slowly. So we don't want to be chugging our liquids. So that's it for today. It's a quick tip. It's incredibly easy. And we wanted to set the foundations that we're going to reiterate again and again for the next few sessions as we talk about gut health and the importance of it, the amount of digestive energy required, and being good to this system and pre-packaging things for our digestive system to break down and assimilate and eliminate. The better, the more finely packaged we deliver that, the easier our whole system's going to be, the more energy we'll have, and the more we'll be able to clean out and detoxify. So chew your food, and we'll be back tomorrow with some more. All right, guys.